Pickle stop.
It's the day after Thanksgiving. Be thankful we're wearing pants.
Alright. Hello YouTube. This is Dave and Hope with Lost Farms Homestead. It's the day after Thanksgiving. I'd like to start by apologizing for not releasing a video last Monday. We had family in town and we were kind of busy. Everything was a little bit crazy. So we're going to do a video today. We're going to show you what we do with the leftovers from Thanksgiving. We call it Boondocks. And it requires a few things.
I don't know why we call it Boondocks. It just is.
Yeah, I'm not sure where the name Boondocks came from. I think one of the kids called it that and we just kind of went with it. So, all right, anyways, so here, let's see.
Kind of like random utensils in the house. They are also called weird things.
Yeah, that happens. All right, so 2 cups of warm water. And
yes, that is a giant bowl.
Yep. Half a cup of sugar. And what is it? Here, 1 tablespoon of yeast.
I keep my yeast in the fridge.
Yep, gotta keep the yeast in the fridge or it'll die.
Well, it might not. It goes, it lasts longer that way.
Good?
Yeah.
Alright, and so we're gonna mix that up. And we're gonna let that stand for 20 minutes.
Or until it starts to get frothy.
And while that is standing, we're going to get together the rest of the ingredients. So let's see, we need melted butter, half a cup of melted butter. We have here salt. This we can use for it.
And flour.
Yep, and the flour.
Just kidding.
No, for real, we need the flour.
Well, just not the whole bucket.
Right. Okay, so it calls for half a teaspoon of salt, which we have here in the salt. Half a cup of butter, melted. 7 cups of flour, and 2 beaten eggs.
2 eggs. I already raided the chickens this morning.
All right, so grab it.
I do like how the one chicken we have that does not lay eggs, because she's too young, is the one that's getting broody.
Yeah.
I'm very confused, but then so might she.
Here, so this is the original recipe card. As you can see, it's well loved. And we've used this quite a bit every year for the last 10 years.
In reality, it's kind of gross.
Yeah, it's actually kind of gross. But, so we have, we have transferred it into the good recipes. And it is page 1.
I'll put the recipe below.
So,
Unless you want to go back and pause.
yeah, we'll post it below in the show notes. So, and we just keep this with it for, what, nostalgia or whatever. So, anyways. Alright, so I need to open and beat a couple of eggs. Oh, this still has...
I meant it that they were fresh.
Yep. Alright. So...
Just beat me.
Alright. Always entertainment. Alright. This over here. Alright. So 2 eggs beaten. half a cup of butter melted.
Roughly 7 cups of flour.
Yeah.
Give or take. It's flour. It's a give or take thing.
That's good how it's doing right there. This is good. We need to add the salt when we do it. Water on the book.
I'm taking this away from you.
Okay. All right, and then flour. So while we're waiting for this,
Should get the ingredients together.
yeah,
The filler.
the filler. Okay, so what we do for the filler is we'll take all of everything that we made for Thanksgiving the night before, and we'll mix it all up into a big,
Okay, we don't mix it. We just combine it. 'Cause
Right.
That's kind of gross.
combine it into a big thing. And we've been asked,
Save the gravy.
yes, and we save the gravy to the side for dipping. We have been asked by the children to keep the turkey separate from the duck, so we'll be doing that.
That's an easy request, because I'm sorry, but turkey's nasty.
I'm gonna go get the. I'll let it.
So, he left us alone. Good enough?
It should be. All right.
Ew. Kids suck at dishes. So, did we want this with a side of cat hair?
We have cat hair in it.
Looks like goose.
Let's chicken, duck, and goose. All right.
He's a cat. Don't worry.
Okay.
That's gross.
So cat hair means love.
Well, so does licking the spoon and keep using it.
All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna strip all of the meat off of these bones from the carcasses, and peel the skin off because we don't want the skin. The skin will just turn into grease in there.
Ingredients into the bowl.
All right. So half a cup of melted butter. 2 beaten eggs. Should be using a scraper for this. Instead, I'm going to make a whole bunch of noise that's going to be really loud in the camera. Okay, and it said a half a teaspoon of salt.
Did it?
Half a teaspoon of salt, and then about 7 cups of flour.
Keep adding flour until it is together.
Alright, so
Which is 14 scoops.
alright, so this is a half cup soup.
a cup scoop, but I can't find it. I have one, but children put away our dishes. Use that.
That's 2. So 1 cup.
That is 4 cups right there. Ten.
5 cups. Alright, oh, let's hold right there.
Yeah.
6 cups. This is looking pretty good right here. The 7th cup may be for the...
It depends on your altitude,
Counter.
the weather, how sticky your stuff is. It depends.
Mhm.
It's more like a 7-ish.
It's always a good idea to do it a little bit at a time and see where you end up before you continue to add. If you get here and you're still adding, that might not be good.
You could probably switch to your hands.
Yep, that's what I'm thinking.
It's pulling away from the spatula, which even if it's difficult for the spatula, you can switch to your hands. We just happen to have a bread whisk.
Okay. Does that need more, or are we good?
Looks good to me. Grab the towel.
Alright,
It's probably older than both of us.
okay, and we cover it with the bread towel.
Let it rise till we have all the ingredients prepared.
Okay. All right. So what we're gonna do here is, this is kind of pretty much what's left over. We had other stuff other than this, but most of it all got eaten, and
Oh,
this
I
is what was
combined
left.
too.
Yeah, and then this also was combined. This is
Brussels sprouts and green bean casserole.
yep, and green bean casserole all in the same thing, and then we got some cranberries, some potato mash, duck and turkey. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this and divide it into 2/3 and put 2/3 here, 1/3 there, same, and then kind of turn it. We're not gonna mix it, just kind of turn it so that it's equally
Combined.
but not mush.
Distributed.
That's a good word. I like distributed. Now we have the stuffing for the boondocks. We have the duck and we have the turkey. So now we wait for the dough. Alright, so now this has had time to rise and double in size.
May have risen a little more if the house was warmer, but it's kind of chilly.
Yeah. Odd to be chilly in Arizona.
Which
All right.
means it's like 70 something.
Alright. So, alright, so we're gonna put down some flour and roll this out. Alright, so what you want to do is roll this out as thin as possible, and it helps if you kind of try and get it in a square type of a formation, because we're going to be cutting it into squares here. Oh hey, look at that. Alright, and then we're going to cut it
4-inch squares.
into 4-inch squares ish.
Ish, my favorite word.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, I missed that one. Alright. And then once we get it into squares like this, we're going to take 1 scoop. And we like to use this because it's about 2 teaspoons. And semicircular. And then grab the corners like this. Pull them up around it this way. And then twist it together at the bottom.
Seal it in.
Yeah, once you get, oop, that broke.
How dare you?
I know. Kind of like this.
It has been a year since we've made these, so.
Yeah,
But I
roll it
practice
together, twist it, about like that.
That's turkey. So we'll leave this over here.
And then stick it on a
Cookie sheet.
cookie sheet. Alright, so
Sorry.
we're going to get another pan, and this one is getting ready. As soon as the oven's ready, we're going to put these in, and they cook for 20 minutes at 350.
Just cook the dough.
Just to cook the dough, everything else is already cooked. So, and then once they come out, they'll need to stand for 5 minutes before you try to eat them. Alright, now we're going to put them over on the racks to cool. Yeah, let's not grab them with our hands.
Asbestos hands.
My love.
Yes, dear. Just cut that part out.
Okay. So, yep, and we're going to set them over here to cool on racks.
I have worked hospitality all my life. My hands no longer feel pain.
Alright. And we have the timer going for the other set right here. And whenever those are ready, we'll pull those ones out and get the next ones going. So we're just cycling through right now. And we got an empty cookie sheet over here. So we're going to take that empty cookie sheet and load it up with these guys and just keep it going. So I think I need to patch that. Anyways, and we'll just keep them going. So we'll leave it to you at the end. Thanks. And to add a glossy finish on it, you can do a egg wash before you put it in the oven. And then when it comes out, it'll look a lot like this. So these ones have the egg wash on them, and these ones do not. Both delicious, but options.
One's just prettier.
So there's an option for that. And
Wow.
what do you think? Is it delicious?
It's gravy time, baby.
Nice. All right, so we're gonna get these the rest of the way done, and we'll talk to you at the end. Thanks. All right, and hand pies with the remainder of the dough. And we used boysenberry to fill it. And then all of the Boondocks. And the plain ones are the turkey, and the ones with the stripe, those are the ones that we marked so we'd know they were made with the duck. So, and that's it for the Boondocks. So stick around next time, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Right. There we go. And pies, yum. Those came out delicious.
So worth it. I think it takes us longer, more work to do this than actually cooking the Thanksgiving dinner.
Oops, sorry.
Hell yeah, I double dipped. How's your pie? I'm so glad you enjoy it.
All right, so we are going to make bone broth while we're waiting for the dough to rise. So I've got a large pan over here. I've got fresh thyme and rosemary from the garden, and we're gonna take these guys and cut them up. And get them in here. All right, so that there. So this is our bone broth here,
Ooh, you should add a beer.
and a beer will give it really good
beer,
taste.
thanks, baby.
But I think that for this particular one, I don't even know if we have a beer, honestly.
What do you want to see?
I think they all got drank while the family was out. All right, so our bone broth is pretty simple. We just put this stuff in here. We're just gonna put in some herbs like this and then fill it up with water and boil it with the lid on. Now the best way to do it, in my experience, is to get it to a boil and then turn it down onto a simmer and then just let it simmer for most of the whole day. Sometimes I've actually let it simmer for like up to 2 days, like continuously simmer on a low. I like to use a crock pot sometimes. This is way too much meat for a crock pot, but sometimes I'll use a crock pot when I do it and just let it go slow and low for like 2 or 3 days until it just really gets good. Yes?
He said you should add a beer.
I should add a beer. Okay. Well, I don't think we're going to, but thank you.
I like it how he's 3 and feels that way.
Well, if that's saying something
You told
about
him?
us.
I'm so glad you told him.
Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna put this on the stove and we'll get this going while we're waiting for the rest of the stuff.
You see Papa.
Alright, hang out. Thanks.
Kind of looks gross. Off the back end. More? Oh, I might not need the funnel. Cool. I don't need it.
If we did this.
Alright, fine, be that way. Huh, babe? I know. You always explain it.
Alright, so now we're just filtering the bone broth into a jar for storage, and we're just running it through a reusable coffee filter to get most of the, well, the rest
To
of
get all the particulates out.
yeah, whatever chunks of fat or pieces of meat or whatever is in it. So
It'll just make it smoother. Don't touch, it's hot. Okay?
alright, so we got,
So this is what it took out.
how big is this?
That's a gallon.
So we got 1 gallon and what, like a half?
It's a little bit more than a quart. They're metric.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
whole
I do
lot.
metric.
A lot of bone broth we got.
And here's your,
You
Hey, you want a bite? Yes. No, baby, you don't say yes to that. That's gross.
Grandma was kidding.
I was kidding, baby.
Watch out for that.
At least you know you trust me. I'm sure that's a good idea.
There we go. And we put these on.
I was choking. You're right. That is a good hug. I love hugs.
Alright, and we put these on with the rubber seal, and with the heat, those will seal themselves, and we'll let these sit.
We'll still put them in the fridge because they haven't been hot packed, but
Yes.
it makes it a lot safer.
But with the rubber seals, they'll be good to cool off, and then once they cool, we'll stick them in the fridge.
Oh, I love you.
All right, thanks for sticking around.